Good evening.
Mexico for the fully fledged version of the Leagues Cup. All 47 senior teams from both countries will be involved. This is the bite-sized taster version, a double-header between giants from both sides of the border. A glance at the LA Galaxy lineup tells you the approach of the coach, Greg Vanney. It is Taylor Twellman, a mix and match selection tonight.
Yeah, a little bit of a mix and match, trying to get a little bit more out of some wide players, and Kevin Cabral and Alvarez. Edwards has had a fantastic year this year at left back with 7 assists in all competitions. But the success of this team going forward for the rest of the MLS regular season is about the front two, Joveljic and Javier Hernandez. They have got to find a way to be able to play together and score goals for Greg Vanney and the LA Galaxy.
Well, Greg Vanney is one of the Galaxy originals, and as such was part of the team that won the CONCACAF Champions Cup back in 2000. In opposition tonight, the once mighty Chivas, a stellar club that's stumbled into mediocrity of late and arrived here. had a goal in 13 seconds. Efrain Alvarez will take it. Rangel, who is starting in goal for Chivas. Rangel, who is starting in goal for Chivas. The playing surface is worthy of comment. It is natural grass, but rolled out only yesterday over the artificial turf that lies beneath. It was only marked out this morning by the ground staff. There is a degree of nervousness in both camps about how this will play and the attendant risk of injury. Hopefully it'll be A-OK. Chivas with their first attack. And Jonathan Klinsmann, who's starting in goal in place of Jonathan Bond for the Galaxy, is able to watch that go comfortably wide.
Well, and having played on this type of surface numerous amount of times in my career, it often plays slower than you expect. And so the first 10 to 15 minutes, your first touches, especially balls that are played in front of you, they're going to get caught up in turf. And so you've got to be very smart with your positioning when defending. But when you're attacking, you can take a few more opportunities and a few more risk. I think the biggest talking point regarding the field is the fact that it's less than 70 yards wide.
It is a comparative postage stamp. Maybe eavesdrop on one or two of the corner takers as the game unfolds, because looking at Efrain Alvarez with that first corner kick, he had no sort of space for any type of normal approach to the ball. And these are all issues that will weigh in the minds of players from all four teams involved tonight. This is Leerdam, as we are in the stadium that will be the Olympic Stadium in 2028 at the Games here, and will stage matches at the 2026 World Cup. It is a $5 billion palace. And with the early evening sun in California seeping through the canopied roof, it is a truly spectacular setting. First ever soccer event here. As Brugman finds Alvarez for the Galaxy. Gonzalez. Eduardo Torres. Free kick Galaxy.
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch the relationship between Delgado and Brugman, because Brugman coming into this team has been a huge asset to Greg Vanney and the LA Galaxy, because he's got a real good sense with the defensive structure and putting out fires, and it's going to allow Mark Delgado to take a few more risks going forward without giving up space going the other way. And that was the part of the combination going forward for the Galaxy that almost turned into a great opportunity for Chicharito.
Gilberto Garcia. Delgado languoring on the ball. Here's Sanchez. Brizuela. Really has been a, well, if I'm being polite, an underwhelming start to the season by Chivas. If you're one of their supporters, you'd probably call it a nightmarish opening. One of 3 Liga MX teams yet to win. They've drawn 5 of their 6 league games. They haven't won in 8 in the league, including the end of last season. Joint lowest scorers in the league with just 3. And that has been their problem for a number of years now. A lack of a reliable goal scorer. Tight defensively, they have the joint best defensive record in Liga MX. Garcia. Ponce. Cabral. few housekeeping rules for this Leagues Cup showcase. 10 substitutions allowed from a bank of 12 substitutes per team. 3 windows available in which to make those changes other than half-time. And we do have VAR. Alvarez. Time it's Chivas with the free kick.
Yeah, but right there, another good example of just at times when you watch the Galaxy, and I understand the most success they've had in the regular season this year has been in a 4-4-2. But yet Joveljic and Chicharito often like to operate in the same spaces as Leerdam steps into the midfield to try to win possession, causing the foul on Pasuela. But this may be an exhibition, and whether it's 30 minutes or 45 minutes for the front two today of the Galaxy, it's still an opportunity to understand the nuance between each other and to play off of each other. And so how often today can they combine? How often can they play off of each other and try to create chances going forward? Because at times, for the amount of money that the Galaxy has spent, they haven't been as dangerous as they need to be.
Transfer builders business unfolding in the background today with Ricky Puig, an imminent arrival from Barcelona, 22-year-old midfield player, 57 games in the Barca first team, and apparently on his way out of the club, Ryan Revelison is reportedly heading for Auxerre in France. Mireles. Sanchez. And Raheem Edwards. It's the Canadian who finally has the chance to clear it. Doesn't do so. Klinsmann comes out quickly. Was it quickly enough? Depew away, crazy defending. With no real method to it, it was just crisis management. Crisis in part of the Galaxy's own manufacture. Through it goes for Cabral, Kevin Cabral, and it's blocked by Mireles. Joveljic. Ponce. Ormenio. Alvarez running into difficulties. Sanchez. Brugman.
You know, it's only his third appearance with the Galaxy, but Brugman looks the part, doesn't he, John?
Yes, he comes here with nearly 100 appearances in Serie A under his belt, and a stint in Spain as well on loan with Oviedo, approaching 30 years of age.
Yeah, and I understand the conversation around Greg Vandy and the LA Galaxy staff and understanding spaces and putting out fires, but it's also in possession. You know, you can play into him. He's got a real good sense of where the ball needs to go to next, what options need to be there. And I think it's only going to take a few more games where players around him can understand that. But at times, the LA Galaxy with Revelison and Delgado Delgado, they needed someone in there that had a sense of where they needed to be on the defensive side of things. But Brugman in possession has impressed me, and yet this is only his third appearance with the LA Galaxy.
Very shaky start. Chivas have settled to the point where they're posing a significant threat themselves.
Well, and that threat's coming off Pozuelo at times, just having the freedom to play in front of Sanchez, but also to come inside when he wants to and just find the space to impact the game.
This is Pozuelo. Gonzalez, seen off that time by Nick DePuy. Delgado. Alvarez. Looking centrally for Hernandez. Cabral. Playing off Mireles. A player who continues to frustrate Kevin Cabral.
Well, and I think he frustrates Greg Vanney at times as well. He's just such an enigma because the explosive pace off the ball just gives him numerous amount of times to impact the game, to change the game, and yet it's in the final third. Just the lack of quality has been there since he's come to Major League Soccer. And yet you don't want to give up on him because, one, you spent a ton of money and gave him a huge contract, but two, he continuously gets the opportunities. So is it just a flip of a switch and then all of a sudden he's flying high? And that's what pace can give you. Something that nobody else on this roster can give. Greg Vanney in the LA Galaxy.
Now this is the first part of a tasty doubleheader, the Leagues Cup showcase. LAFC against Club America follows from 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific. Ormenio's header. And Gonzalez, I think, slightly confused by the presence of Gilberto Garcia in his eye line. Ponce. Torres. Bijela. And a header by Ormeño.
Yeah, but it's no secret what Chivas want to do going forward, and Pozuelo's their most dynamic player, and he's in wide area.
Ponce. Torres. Bizela. And the header by Ormeño.
Yeah, but it's no secret what Chivas want to do going forward, and Bizela's their most dynamic player, and he's in wide area.
Torres. Bizela. And the header by Ormeño.
Yeah, but it's no secret what Chivas want to do going forward, and Bizela's their most dynamic player, and he's in wide area.
He stays down, and the referee eventually blows for a foul.
And Ponce's had himself one heck of a career. He won the gold medal in the 2012 Olympics, and I remember at one point he had the opportunity to play for the United States, and if I'm not mistaken, Bob Bradley was thinking about calling him in, but he made that decision to stay with Mexico. But he's just had himself a fantastic career.
Yeah, born in Sacramento, went to high school in San Diego. 13 seasons with Chivas, 12 caps for Mexico, and approaching 300 games for the club in total. Jonathan Klinsmann selected instead of Jonathan Bond for a relatively rare appearance. 4 US Open Cup ties this season for Klinsmann. This is how the injury occurred.
Well, the most difficult part of playing on this surface is that it is grass laid on turf, and so at times the surface may give away, or you may hit certain parts of the field where they can separate, and so that was the big concern from both managers, not only in this game but for the game coming on after this in America and LAFC. And so that is the #1 concern of all the managers, is playing on the surface and how difficult it may be at times.
Well, the world famous colours of Chivas, the red, the white and the blue, representing fraternity, union and sports. And a hint of the French national colours. There were Frenchmen involved in the founding of the club more than a century ago. The actual founding member was a Belgian businessman. And by Garcia, and touched on harmlessly into the grateful arms of Klinsmann. Brugman. Gaining ground on the outside is Raheem Edwards. Ball just held up on the turf there.
Go back to that set piece from Chivas. Mir, the most experienced player for Chivas in the lineup tonight, trying to flick it on back post. Easy pickings for Klinsmann.
The distance on Klinsmann's clearance is such that Hell is forced to use his head.
But Pezuela and Sanchez just put on a show for Chivas Guadalajara in the first 20 minutes here.
Jovic. Delgado. Hernandez wanting the cross. And Brugman brushed off the ball. By Garcia. Venezuela. Eduardo Torres. Torres. Chance for the turn, chance for the shot, chance for the miss by Ormeño. The flag was up on the far side.
Yeah, but whether or not the flag was up, this in a nutshell tells you how Chivas has struggled early on this year. Just an absolute nightmare when they get into the final 15 to 20 yards. I still think Pezuela could have been onside. Koulibaly looked like he kept them on. And mind you, we have VAR in both games tonight, and so if this ball hit the back of the net, they could have gone back to it and looked at it. But Pezuela just doing a wonderful job of impacting the game, both with and without the ball. It's the support around him that has been lackluster at best.
Well, close moments for Rangel at the other end as well. One of them there with Jovic. Chance for Galaxy fans to see their side playing 4-4-2, which many of them have wanted. Jovic and Hernandez paired up top together. First game of the Leagues Cup showcase. Precursor to the fully fledged Leagues Cup of 2023 and beyond. There's Hernandez, and he didn't get any sort of clean contact.
Yeah, but look at what's coming from. Brugman does a wonderful job of understanding space. I mean, he's covered a ton of ground here, but this is making a penetrating run from a deep line playmaking position. It opens up the game for LA going forward.
Delgado. Alvarez. And we're winding up towards the start of the major European leagues. In the case of the Bundesliga, that means a Friday night start and the first big game of the season, Saturday at 12 Eastern on ABC. Borussia Dortmund against Bayer Leverkusen. Last year's runners-up at home against Leverkusen, one of Chicharito's old clubs.
Yeah, and I know coming up in two of the next shows for Football Americas with Seb and Herc, they've got Pellegrino Matarazzo in that interview. Fantastic insight.
And he's done so well at Stuttgart. Here's Torres. Brizuela. Garcia in. Klinsmann makes not one but two saves. Should have been the opening goal for Chivas. Ponce appearing from the left wing-back position. Garcia once again. Garcia came off Koulibaly and trundles through to a goalkeeper who was left very exposed.
Well, remember last season, I think it was at Minnesota United, where Jonathan Klinsmann was standing on his head. Nothing short of confidence in his ability, but he's just got a real presence and a big body that can get into your kitchen as an attacking player. Great reflexes, two big saves from Jonathan Klinsmann.
coach who is very much under the cosh at the moment, Ricardo Cadena. Didn't help that Ricardo Gareca, the long-serving coach of Peru, took the Peruvians to the last World Cup, was spotted at an airport in Guadalajara yesterday, and immediately 2 and 2 were put together and 5 was made with the thought that he would be the new manager. Edwards, Hernandez, Brugman. Edwards keeping it alive for Gaston Brugman again. Here's Alvarez. And Edwards, second time, blocked by Morales on the line, swept behind for a corner.
And Chivas players are arguing that he's offside, and yet the ball's ahead of where Edwards is, with Alvarez delivering this ball in. Now Edwards is having himself a career year, coming from LAFC with 7 assists in all competitions. And Alvarez does a good job as that ball was deflected back to him to deliver that first-time ball to Edwards. Rangel coming up with a big save, answering Klinsmann's call on the other end.
Alvarez with the kick, and it's in. It's Joveljic again. Whilst the goals have been sporadic for his more illustrious partner Chicharito, they just keep on coming for the Serbian. 10 in his last 12 games.
On attacking set pieces, the near post run's the most important because you can cause chaos with little deflections. Flicks onto the back post. We saw it on ABC last weekend with Minnesota and the Portland Timbers, and Joveljic is just scoring goals for fun this year for Greg Vanney and the LA Galaxy. 13 goals in all competitions, and it's just that little bit of a touch near post that puts it into the back of the net. Fantastic run, good finish, 1-0 LA Galaxy.
Fine finisher, good for a quote as well. Remember when he said on the pitch last week, "I am the future of the Galaxy." No shyness there from a player who turns 23 this past weekend. Still at the growing stage of his career. Rather stalled at Eintracht Frankfurt. He's been rescued from obscurity and given what was meant to be a role as a substitute, but he's become a fairly regular starter now. Sheer weight of goals has demanded as much. And it came from the Alvarez corner. Shot is speculative on this occasion from Delgado. The urgent discussions down on the bench will always be the case with any coaching staff that sees their team concede from such a straightforward set piece.
Yeah, I mean, the discussion there is how does Joveljic get a little touch on the ball inside the 6 near post with any kind of body contact from the defender on him. And I think when that staff watches the tape, it's going to be even more aggravating in the sense that easy run, simple touch, and now they're down. But I think what's more egregious is they're finishing on the other end, because they've had their chances as much, if not more so, than the Galaxy.
Mighty clearance by Depew. And this is what's leading to so much scrutiny of the coach's position, because if you look at Ricardo Cadena's record, it's 12 competitive games, 5 wins and just 2 defeats. Well, how many coaches who've lost 2 out of 12 usually get fired? There again. It's usually a different way of doing things in Mexico when it comes to managerial employment. Here's Gonzalez. And that's why Ricardo Cadena is the 7th head coach of Chivas in the last 4 years. Morales. Garcia. Alvarez. goal scorer, Joveljic. In towards Chicharito, who was watched all the way, as was the ball. It's a corner.
Well, and that's where Greg Vanney has a little bit of concern when playing with 4-4-2. Yes, you've got Joveljic. Yes, you've got Chicharito running off at it. And yet, where is that third option? Right there, a glorious opportunity for a third option to run off of Chicharito and get off the end of that cross from Joveljic. Dangerous set piece here for the Galaxy.
Well, the last one led to a goal. This is delivered into a different area. Alvarez with a different angle. And he's encouraged the overhead from a brim full of confidence, Dejan Joveljic. A goal every 69.7 minutes, which is the most frequent scoring rate in MLS this season. Say Alvarez is doing well to deliver those corners because he's got precious little room for manoeuvre, and he's hemmed in that far corner of the pitch. There's very little apron there. Just be an exhibition match, albeit a precursor of a competitive competition to come from 2023 onwards. But whenever Liga MX teams are beaten by their MLS counterparts, there is an investigation amongst the footballing public in Mexico, who regard it as an embarrassment. MX team beats an MLS side, and he sees an eyebrow raised.
I just think regarding Chivas, though, isn't there a false sense of reality? Because if you ask Chivas Guadalajara fans, they'll say it is a shock that they're in a real struggle, yet their average position in the league over the last 8 years is 9th. And so when you look, numbers don't lie. And that's where I think there's a false sense of reality at times for Chivas Guadalajara. Yes, it's pressure,
Ponce,
and it's real pressure, whether or not you've only had 2 defeats in your last 12 as a manager. But the truth is, the last 8 years, it's not as if they've been dominant.
But a glorious history going back many decades can be a true burden. Hernandez wanted to take the quick free kick that he himself had won, and we have a couple of substitutions being made. Sasha Festian and Adam Saldana ready to come in for LA Galaxy. And many of these changes mapped out in advance by the coaching staff, who have a set number of minutes that they want to give to specific players. So Mark Delgado makes way for Saldana. Festian and Adam Saldana ready to come in for LA Galaxy. And many of these changes mapped out in advance by the coaching staff, who have a set number of minutes that they want to give to specific players. So Mark Delgado makes way for Saldana.
Remember, it was late last season where Greg Vanney was just flabbergasted at his defensive shape and the way they were giving up goals. This year he started with a real purpose of shoring that up and making sure they were solid defensively. They've done that. I'm just not sure they put fear in the opposition the way other teams do, in particular in the Western Conference.
Alvarez sets Joveljic on his way. Question. Depew. Free kick given. And the referee moving off with yellow card in hand and brandishing it at Sega Koulibaly. Depew. Free kick given. And the referee moving off with yellow card in hand and brandishing it at Sega Koulibaly. There's the reason why. Briseño. Ormeño. Sanchez. I should point out that a number of the cornerstone players have been left out by Chivas this evening. Among them Alexi Vega, the Mexican playmaker, Roscoe, the central defender, Beltran, the midfielder, and Roberto Alvarado, the Mexican international winger, because they have a league game, not tomorrow but the next day, just 48 hours hence, which is looking ever more important, giving recent bad results. Playing at Mazatlan. So they've actually come on this trip with 29 players in total, even though they could only name 23 of them on the team sheet tonight. Sanchez breaks for Joveljic, but the whistle is gone.
Yeah, but I think when next year's tournament kicks off, you're going to see a different type of excitement, I think, from all the participants, because they're not going to be worried about the schedule in and around these games.
Garcia.
I mean, both leagues are shutting down for a month, and so when you talk to the managers and technical staffs from both leagues, they're worried about what's coming next, whether it's Chivas playing a game 48 hours from now, the Galaxy playing this weekend, whatever it may be. Next season, you're not going to have that. And so I think there's going to be a real purpose of trying to win the thing because of money and the competition aspect of it. And I think that's why there's going to be some real intrigue, because there's going to be nothing else going on at the same time.
Money, pride, prizes, and of course 3 spots in the CONCACAF Champions League as well, via next season's Leagues Cup. Interesting watching the crowd, both in terms of size and shirt colour. An awful lot of red and white with blue trim at the outset, but we're seeing more and more yellow creeping in now as Club America fans begin to arrive ahead of the second part of this double-header tonight here on ESPN against LAFC. Alvarez. Javier Hernandez. Question.
You and I remember the America support. Remember in Atlanta for Campeones Cup? That was fantastic.
Yes. Ormeño forced wide by Depew.
Remember the first time you and I saw Jonathan Klinsmann in person at a Galaxy training, you and I looked at each other, just the presence that he has. Great length, fundamentally sound. I go back again to that game he had at Minnesota United, two of the best saves we saw all season long. And it put pressure on Jonathan Bond to perform, and good on Bond to do that. He's been very solid this year.
Again, Efrain Alvarez. Javier Hernandez. Edwards. There's the chance. And that was the save as Saldana holds his head.
Yeah, but this is all Chicharito keeping it alive. Alvarez trying to get to the end line, deliver a dangerous ball in, just staying alive, looking forward, and then good understanding from Edwards to lay it off, not take an extra touch. Giving Saldana an opportunity. Just fantastic work from Chicharito on the end line.
Half-time is looming here, which gives us a chance to look ahead to next week and All-Star Week in Minnesota. Everyone looking forward to that. The Skills Challenge Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And then the main event, the MLS All-Stars against their Liga MX equivalents, next Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern here on ESPN.
How many times you going to the Brew Hall at Allianz Field next week?
Well, how many beers are there? 95?
I'll bet you dinner right now on live television you can't test all 95. Is it test or taste?
Both, I think. Test, taste. I couldn't consume a full glass of all 95.
Liar.
I could have what we call a snifter, though.
That's fine.
Ponce. Brizuela.
Oh, good ball.
And actually, after a hesitant start, in particular by Chivas, but by both teams, we've seen some nice football.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's an exhibition, right? So the game's going to open up a little bit. Players of quality are going to shine, and Brizuela's been the player for Chivas that has really had a few opportunities to impact the game and create opportunities, and obviously Joveljic getting on the end of a set piece. Trying to put on a show for the 55, 60,000 in the building.
Alvarez. Joveljic protects and uses the ball. Cabral. Saldana. We're going to have one extra minute. Now signal down below. Edwards. Question. And Joveljic was virtually on his knees by the time he made contact.
Well, throughout his entire career, Sasha Kljestan has done a wonderful job of running out of the midfield off the ball and creating angles for players to fill in the gaps. Good combination with Raheem Edwards looking for that run. He gets it from Chicharito near post, and it pulls him away. And Greg Vanny, shocked as anyone that Joveljic doesn't have his second of the night.
Joveljic has scored the one goal, and we'll review and break it down as part of the Football America's halftime report, which is coming up. We also report on LA Galaxy's new signing from Barcelona and preview our second game tonight as we reach the midway point of our first fixture with the Galaxy one up against Chivas Guadalajara. Let's hear from someone who's been smiling for much of the half, Greg Vanny, head coach of the Galaxy, with Christina Alexander.
Thanks, guys. Coach, so many opportunities from the Chivas side, so many opportunities for you guys. How valuable is it to be up 1-0 right now?
Yeah, it's great. Look, both sides are managing the conditions a little bit. I think our guys are really trying to play through it, and which is great. Some good chances, obviously concede a couple of chances, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm pleased with where we're at, and it's a great night, great stadium. two good games that are going to happen, so we're happy to be here.
Chicharito staying on for the 90 minutes. We know Chivas fans are excited.
No, he's done for tonight. Yeah.
Thanks, Coach. Guys.
Sign that changes are in the offing for the start of the second half. But the man of the first period has been Dejan Joveljic with this intervention, a goal by which they lead at the break. The Football Americas halftime report is next.
This is a payday bar with tons of peanuts and caramel that get the job done, so you can think of it as a tool to hammer your hunger.
Garcia. Bypassing Eduardo Torres. And now Antonio Briseño. Depew earning a goal kick. Interesting listening to Greg Vanney's comments with Christina Alexander as he left the field, saying the players are managing despite the conditions. Presumably he's talking about the pitch, is he?
Yeah, he's talking about the field, absolutely. 100%. It's difficult, and yet I think
Depew earning a goal kick. Interesting listening to Greg Vanney's comments with Christina Alexander as he left the field, saying the players are managing despite the conditions. The most successful team in MLS history, but long since knocked from their pedestal. Having to qualify for the playoffs in 4 of the last 5 campaigns. Seeking to clamber back up. And Chivas Guadalajara, in terms of league titles, won the 2nd most successful team in Mexico after Club America, who will be taking to this stage a little later on this evening.
I get the struggles on the field for the Galaxy, missing the playoffs 4 of the last 5, as you said, but I think it's off the field that has everyone a little bit alarmed in the Galaxy world. Right, with what LAFC has done in this market, and in particular with the neutral fan coming into Major League Soccer and playing a brand that I think the neutral fan appreciates. Started with Bob Bradley's, continued with Steve Cherundolo, John Thornton, building together a roster that very few can say they have 2 11s within a roster in Major League Soccer, and I think it's very interesting what LA Galaxy do in response to that. Now, ironically, the Galaxy have owned the LAFC in the rivalry in the sense of just what they've done in particular games, but for the majority of the situation, LAFC has been the better team since coming into Major League Soccer.
Smattering of regular season MLS fixtures taking place last night and tonight. An extraordinary game at Red Bull Arena. 5-4 win for Colorado over the Red Bulls. Seattle winning with a Ladero penalty against FC Dallas. And tonight, a full-time score from North Carolina. Charlotte FC have beaten DC United, Wayne Rooney's 2nd game in full charge, by 3-0. That's a result.
How about DC's comeback the other night? I mean, what is it with Wayne Rooney in Orlando City? Right?
Why always there, they must think. Torres. Now got a little fortunate. Mireles. Again, Eduardo Torres. Judd. Bronzer. Question. Nick Depew. Hit a VAR. And the play, Galaxy ball. So precarious, reportedly, is Ricardo Cadena's position that even though this is an exhibition game, a defeat to an MLS team could prove to be particularly costly. Judd, who's certainly making his presence felt.
Absolutely is. He's come right into this one, and that's why, whether an exhibition or not, when your number's called, what do you do with the opportunity? And Judd's come into this one, immediately had a good opportunity on the near post. His hold-up play has been strong, and you said it, he's in fantastic form for LA Galaxy too, with 12 goals coming out of University of Denver. But in the 10 minutes so far against Chivas, he's had an impact.
It is now a Galaxy 11 of some inexperience. The most experienced part of the unit is taking this free kick. Such a question. Perez came to earth rather painfully. There's going to be another yellow here. It's question for the foul. And Perez is down for the Galaxy inside the Chivas area.
And Zavaleta and Perez ran into each other, which caused the space to open up, and Kleshin had to take down the Chivas player to stop the counterattack. It's got to be difficult times for Sacha Kleshin. He began his career with Chivas USA. Well, he's used to passing to the red and white pinstripe. Just says a lot about what Kleshin's done throughout his career. 36 years old, over 550 games.
37th birthday looming next month. Last 3 seasons have been something of a bonus for him, really, having left Orlando. 63 games and counting for the Galaxy.
From your perspective, what's the Galaxy's biggest issue?
That they don't get bang for their buck in the transfer market. Torres.
Oh, because to that point, the Chiellini and Bale signings used to be LA Galaxy type of signings 10 years ago, weren't they?
I'm just conscious that there are an awful lot of players from second divisions in Europe coming into the Galaxy. And yet one or two of them have really worked. But a number of them, for significant money, like Cabral, have not. I think whereas 10 years ago you could probably rely on plucking a player from a second division in Europe and thinking they've got a better than even chance of succeeding in what MLS was then, what MLS is now is a much more demanding environment. Question. Saldana, it's good to see him back. Injured his ankle in pre-season. It's his first appearance since last October. And a good run in the team early last season. Him back. Injured his ankle in pre-season. It's his first appearance since last October. And a good run in the team early last season.
Full instinct, and what a fantastic moment for the 19-year-old of the LA Galaxy. Growing up as a Chivas Guadalajara fan, his fans and friends all here on his behalf just saw him score a goal. Greg Vanney saw him score a goal. 2-0 LA Galaxy here at SoFi Stadium.
I might cause a few family debates, arguments, moments of friction.
Yeah, but it's one where Jonathan Perez can stay out of it then. What a finish.
Really nicely taken. Right, changes afoot for Chivas. Angel Zaldívar. Striker coming on. Pavel Perez. Christian Calderon, number 26 there, coming on to play on the left-hand side of the defence. And for a Chivas side who will have looked at this as an opportunity to taste victory for the first time this season, it is not going at all to plan. They've actually got an 11 out there that is considerably more experienced than their Galaxy counterparts, and yet it is the Galaxy who've doubled their lead. Same scoreline as in a previous friendly 12 days ago where Chivas lost 2-0 against Juventus. Here's Judd! And that was another near scrapbook moment.
Well, someone needs to tell the 23-year-old from Las Vegas, Nevada, that he shouldn't be doing this and this easily. As a player, all you ask for is an opportunity to impress. All you ask for is an opportunity to showcase what you're about, and Judd's done that in 20 minutes of this second half.
If this is any sort of evidence as to the potential that lurks within 23-year-old Preston Judd, then the Galaxy are fairly well served in the striker position with Chicharito, Joveljic, leading scorer, and Judd in behind them as well. Now Ethan Su back to lead last year. They've provided that backup before. Calderon. Breaks for Christian. Perez. Grandsir. Grandsir will be brought back. For a Chivas free kick. Question. Zavaleta. Crowd swelling in number all the time here. Fans of LAFC and Club America join the party.
I think Club America fans just became LA Galaxy fans, didn't they? For the last 20 minutes. This one.
Well, you would, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
In that position, given the rivalry, the history of El Super Clasico in Mexico. Chivas against Club America. Grandsir. Zaldivar. Saldana. Araujo. Quarter of this game remaining. And that's a foul by the Mexican international, Araujo. From a Galaxy perspective, this now becomes a test of a young team as to how they deal with an unexpectedly luxurious position.
It is, but would you agree with me? The Galaxy have looked better in the second half than they did in the first.
I like the shape.
I do too. I do too.
I also like Preston Judd, young striker. Here's Araujo. Question. Perez.
from back to front.
Pavel Perez. Rowan, Zaldivar. Brizuela. Jalen Neal. Only half a clearance. Extravagant tumble. Referee unimpressed. There is VAR. But the game continues with Klestjan looking for Judd. And the goalkeeper Jimenez having to scramble. Two more substitutes entering this game as we turn our thoughts to the next game. Gareth Bale has just arrived, part of the LAFC squad tonight for their showcase fixture against Club America. We will have half an hour or so to gather our thoughts after this game here on ESPN. We'll continue our telecast all the way through and then we'll build up towards LAFC against Club America. Kick off a little more than an hour away in that one. Pew changing direction. There's two players that came on. Andre Ham and the regular right back, stroke right wing back Alan Mosso. Takes Chivas up to 7 substitutes of the 10 that they can use. They've got one window left and the Galaxy have only got one more substitution available to them. Bronzy. Gasper. Judd. Oh, that's nice. That's lovely. And Rangel had to narrow the angle very rapidly.
Well, and Judd may have been in an offside position, but what a fantastic turn this is. Gasper into space here. The ball's played. He is in an offside position, but again, his touch has been clean. He hasn't been fearful whatsoever taking on the back line of Chivas. And you can see instinctually why he's got 12 goals with LA Galaxy too, because everything in and around the 18-yard box is decisive, and it puts defenders on their heels.
Some players shrink in the harsh spotlight on an occasion like this. Others grow, and he seems to be in the latter category.
It puts defenders on their heels.
Some players shrink in the harsh spotlight on an occasion like this. Others grow.
System and formation to impact the game. And I think Grandsier's been okay. I think there was false expectations of what he would be and what he's done. And I think he's been solid enough for Greg Vanney as opposed to the criticism, and rightfully so, of Kevin Cabral and his impact. I think in the right system, in right formation, I think Grandsir is very reliable in MLS.
Question. Belongs to Chivas. Calderon to swing this goalwards. And also Calderon. And Calderon again, this time the block is by Neal. 15th time that a Mexican side has played an MLS team in the Leagues Cup format. Liga MX sides with an 8 wins to 2 advantage coming into this. A little bit of context to what's looking more and more likely to be a Galaxy win. And also after that rather wild effort by Andre Ham. There is no clear vision for Chivas' future at the moment. There is much discontent with the president, Amari Vergara. Depew comes off and Derek Williams replaces him for the last 10 minutes. The 10th and final substitution of Galaxy's evening. So the only player who will last the full 90 is the one about to take this clearing kick, Jonathan Klinsmann.
Derek Williams came in and had a conversation with Jalen Neal and Zavaleta. LA Galaxy will now go to 4 in the back and push Araujo into the midfield.
Riva.
Well, you can almost feel the pressure that's all over Chivas right now, can't you?
And it's weird, isn't it? Because this is an exhibition fixture. It shows the plight that they're in. Yeah,
it just, when they've gotten to the final third, they just haven't done enough with their chances. Now, some of that is Jonathan Klinsmann came up with 2 really good saves on Ponce, but they've had a few other opportunities that at this level they should have done better with.
Chivas last won a game on the 9th of May against Pumas. In the Clausura, 8 league games without a win since. Also beaten in a friendly by Juventus 12 days ago. Lowest scorers in Liga MX.
And for those of you at home, the American fans just showed up.
Question. It's been a calming presence since coming on as a sub. Gracia. Chase Gasper. Question. Saldana. Depew with the foul. Zavaleta going in. In yellow are here for what they consider to be the main event. She's a rematch with LAFC. A rematch after a bitterly contested CONCACAF Champions League semi-final in 2020, which went the way of LAFC. And led to the sacking 2 days later of the then America head coach Miguel Herrera. Perez. Also Perez. A little too robust by Grancière in the view of the Mexican referee. Clean sheets few and far between for the Galaxy, 2 in their last 15 games. Marceau. Johnny Perez finding Grancière. Now the chase is on. Have made a really determined, gritted teeth run on the far side. Big day of football on ABC coming up this Saturday. From the Bundesliga, Borussia Dortmund against Bayer Leverkusen from noon Eastern, followed by our big MLS game from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta United against the Seattle Sounders, Saturday from 3 Eastern, also on ABC.